The one question I'm asked all the time is my secret to sourcing. We're going to talk about that today, so if you want to know a secret, watch this video. Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor. Today we're going to talk about sourcing. We're going to give you a good suggestion here, something that will help probably any level of seller, something that everybody should do. Sourcing seems to be the biggest question across the board. It's the biggest issue, the biggest problem most people have trying to find certain items. Let's just set the record straight. There is no specific place that every single person should source at, because everybody lives in a different city, a different state, a different place, and has different abilities or even different kinds of places to source at. So don't ever lock yourself in to one specific type of business to source at. The biggest key I can tell you here, the biggest plus that really helped me coming from town to town as a regional and having to move around and still trying to do this, is something that a fire chief told me once. I used to run a restaurant as a general manager. We did deals with the fire department and invited them to the restaurant and had functions and pancake breakfasts to donate money to charities and things like that that the fire company was involved in. One day I was talking to the fire chief in his office, and he had a huge map up there on his wall, and he had circular patterns drawn out. You'd see it just in many other aspects of it too. Just if you do a search for a map, it's going to broaden your range by how far away it is. One thing I can tell you from that conversation I had with him was you don't know your own area. I can almost guarantee that most people who live in even a decent sized town haven't a clue on many spots in neighborhoods and places to source at in their own general area. What I did when I first got back here to Ohio was get a big wall map. I took a wall map, I pinned exactly where I was at. Every map has a scale which tells you how many inches equal a mile, and I literally used that measurement from their scale, took a piece of string and marked 25 miles, 50 miles, and 100 miles from my house and drew concentric circles all the way around the map at those marks. So I had a circle that was 25 miles all the way around my house, one that was 50, and one that was 100. And as I found places to source, I pegged them with a different colored peg. That way I could see where I hit and where I didn't. Eventually I had big patterns of areas that I didn't realize there was places to source at. I was honestly surprised that there was areas I never had been into in my own town and in just normal neighborhoods that were right around my general area. Within 25, 50, 100 miles is usually my range, but I found all sorts of places to source. It was just incredible how much just having that map helped me with that. And what I also did when I first started was I would peg the good ones. So if I put a black peg, it was no good. If I put a green peg, it was money. My home was blue. It worked for me very well. I know it sounds a little simple. It's something visual, though. It's always there in front of you, always. It's not like you have to open up a computer. If it's on your wall, you dedicate a spot in a room, whatever the case may be, and you don't even have to have a new map. You can buy a used map off of eBay, off of Amazon, whatever the case may be, even if it's a few years old. Get a big map, 4-foot square or something along that range. It always has worked for me when I first moved to an area. Again, this is something very simple, but you will be surprised. Even if you don't see there's nothing listed in the phone book or online in a certain area, the majority of ones in certain neighborhoods just aren't advertised. You won't see them necessarily in the phone book, especially a lot of secondhand stores. So I've used that to my benefit, just like church sales. Just like anything that I do, church sales are yellow. So put yellow pegs where churches are. You have a legend at the bottom of this if you want, and you can put yourself a little note on what peg means what. You can write out 25 miles, you can write out 50 miles, you can write out 100 miles. I am telling you that this, without a doubt, will help you. It'll help you visualize stuff. It'll help you to mark church sales that are year after year after year. You can correspond them with a page on your calendar that says when things are, and then boom, there you go. You can do all kinds of stuff with that map, but that is a good starting point. It'll point you to directions that you probably hadn't a clue on. Very simple, very basic, doesn't take much skills. Anybody can get a map and put some pegs on it. You will honestly see what's going on. You can chart your courses from that if that's the case also. But it's really going to open up your area, your mind to spots that you haven't sourced in. So I don't think there's a neighborhood around that doesn't have a little tiny secondhand shop or a mom and pa this or a mom and pa that or a pawn shop. There's just so many other areas other than sourcing at just specifically garage sales or thrift stores. When you're new to an area, most people miss a ton of them. When you've been there for a long time, you think you know it all. I was the same way until I marked it out on a map. Once I saw it on a map, I realized this neighborhood I never ever have been into, or this one, or this one. I know you can do it online. It's just so much more visual and involving and draws you in to put another peg on that board. That's just how I see it. It's a motivational aspect as much as it is anything also. Your goal could be to cover the map with pegs so you've been to every place on there. That could be a very good goal, just a small time goal. It's not even a monetary goal. It's a knowledge-based goal to expand areas that you can source in. There's just so many other options. Put one color peg for auction houses. That's another good one you can do. Or put little building thumbtacks. You'd be surprised how many different types of thumbtacks you can find. Something as simple as a thumbtack is enjoyable to source sometimes when you're doing this, I can tell you for sure. So, I mean, that's just one aspect of it. Another aspect is just because you see somebody else selling this specific item or talking about a specific thing or niche or category doesn't mean it's viable for you. You may not have the ability to source these locally, and sourcing them from outside of the state could be costly, and you can't see the items before you purchase them, which in my opinion is key to buying anything. I always like to see an item physically, and I've talked about this since day one, my first video. I have to touch and be able to examine the item. I'm not going to get taken by stuff like that. You know, it's risky. If you can handle it, see it, you can also adjust the price to your benefit by making offers, you know, going back and forth in bartering over the item, basically. That's how I see it. There's many sourcing options, though. Sometimes you have to go to online local auctions or auctions from the next state over or something along that line. Sometimes you have to travel to get things. The point of it is, though, everybody is going to have different opportunities to get different things. You're not going to find 100 pairs of shoes maybe in your neighborhood to sell or in your sourcing region. You're not going to find 100 Tommy jackets or so many pairs of jeans that'll sell for $50 a pop. Your best endeavor when you first start is to look up almost everything you can think of that may have value. Don't just worry about clothing. You're going to lock yourself into one category, and it's hard to get out of that. When you first start out, if you're just worrying about what could sell quickly, regardless of what it is, you're going to do far better with quicker return on that investment. As you go on, then you can center in on niches, something that will draw more people into your store because you're going to have multiples of the same types of items. Not necessarily clothing or books or something along that line, because it's really hard to get multiple purchases from somebody unless you have the exact same size and something in their taste or something in their books that they would be interested in buying. So that's just one thought on that. Business models are another aspect of this. You can't just say, I'm going to go with this model and that's all I'm going to do, because your model is going to be based on what you find and your abilities to source those types of items that are built into your model. When I first started out, I did have a basic model, but it was based on what I started to find, and I changed it constantly until it is what it is today. It was a learning experience for me. I made some mistakes along the way to get to this model that works. That's what's going to happen. There's always going to be a learning curve, you know, but you're never going to get to a point where you're successful if you don't take these chances occasionally. Know your limits, though. It's your money. It's not mine. So know what you're doing enough that you're not blowing money. You're not wasting time and energy. Time is a huge factor in making your business successful. That's why the board for me always worked, because I could center in, I'm just going to do this area today, or I'm just going to do that area today. After a while, I knew the entire map, at least the 25 miles directly around my house. So if there was a sale or something, I never even had to look after a while. But that's part of this, knowing your area like the back of your hand. It really helps you. You can find shortcuts and save time and all these other avenues. But again, your business is going to come down to what you can find. Plain and simple. If you can't source it, you can't sell it. That's the number one thing that I can tell you. Don't worry about sourcing secrets or anything like that other sellers use. Look into your own area and find out everything you can. Look outside the box, know your area, know what's in your own market. Know where you're getting more items. Make notes of these. Write stuff down on a calendar and track it year by year. Don't just be looking at what's going on right now. If you want to be successful, you're going to have to think about next year, these same sales, these same places. Around here, there's neighborhood sales, and there's only a couple that are really, really good. The Old West End area here is like the bomb because it's all vintage antiques and collectibles that have been pulled out of attics and things like that. That's one that everybody goes to. It's one of the biggest ones in the city. But there's many others. Everybody who's anybody in this town knows Old West End is the best area. And there's an Old West End festival and the whole works also, all tied around it. It's a big city event. So, know these types of things. Know when a church has a festival or a fair that sells used goods. Know all this stuff. It's really going to benefit you. And knowing this stuff can help set your model up because you've got a continuous pattern of places you can source at. But if you're just bouncing around, not keeping track, not knowing, you're not going to be able to put a good model together because you're going to be randomly sourcing places. Take the random out of it as much as you can. The more successful sellers are not random. They have a set pattern of things that they do over and over and again. Wholesale is a good example of that. RAing the same stores that produce is another good example of that. Sourcing markets, flea markets, fairs, festivals that produce. That's key. You got to only go back to the ones that produce and limit the ones in your time to the ones that are going to give you the most money. From there, you're going to be able to get a model put together. A model is the best bet. Keep to it once it works. Don't deviate from places that make you money. Unless it's a new opportunity or something new. I'm not saying to never go back to areas that don't make you money, but limit them to like 1 or 2 days a month at the best. Spend most of your time going to the ones that are producing. And if you're not keeping track or having a map down, you're not going to know which ones are producing. That's the biggest secret I can tell you, is knowing where to go. And most people, even though they've lived in places 5, 10 years, will be able to find other areas they've never been to or other sourcing venues in their own town, their own region, just by keeping a map and putting some pegs on it. Sounds plain, it sounds simple, but I'm telling you, it does honestly work. I was shocked. And again, this comes from a fire chief. He learned it from somebody else. Most fire departments I go to or have seen the insides, and I've seen several when we used to promote our stores that I worked at as a regional or as a general manager, had a map on a wall. Police departments do it as well. It's a good thing to do. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts on the matter. Hopefully that will help you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.